So, the Rantcast. I just recorded 20 minutes, but like I always say, the bars eventually, like I have 640 bars to record. And so, I got to the end, like I could see it running out. And it wrapped it up. And when I hit stop, it had already began to like re-record. So then I lost the file, and then now it's like I gotta re-record another 20 minutes, but whatever. But this is good because maybe I can just get to the point a bit more. Fuck. It's fucking on technology. Anyway, because of course it's the technology's fault. It's not me for not wrapping it up quick, right? It's the technology's fault. It's Facebook's fault, right? Anyway, so yeah. So the theme for this particular rant was about doing more with less, but from a technology standpoint, and how I'm just sort of realizing you don't always need, quote unquote, as they say, all the things. You know what I mean? What you got is enough. Basically, back in January, I decided that I wanted a camera. I wanted a DSLR, so I wanted a camera, and then I wanted extra storage for my laptop, and then I also wanted something that was more portable than the laptop, which is funny considering that laptops were originally supposed to be portable, but now that we have tablets, it's even more portable. So, what do? I decide the best investment to sort of minimize the cost and to basically keep it, keep it basic and keep it simple. What would be to just get it, whatever the highest amount of storage iPad is, and then just use that. And so that's what I did. What I found was that I couldn't, at the time, this was more about my own mind state of the mental jump that I didn't take to just completely de-shackle myself and handcuff myself from my laptop. I'm like, it doesn't really serve the same purpose because longer word processing is womp womp, and the longer word processing, to make it comfortable, you need a keyboard or whatever, like one of these USB keyboards or Bluetooth keyboards, which would eliminate the purpose. It's like, why would you get a keyboard when you can just use your actual laptop? Then the video editing, I was using Premiere Pro, and like most people, I bought into that whole ecosystem. However, which is a theme sort of in my life, is like a theme of over having a rough stretch of road, which is I've had to do more with less because I didn't have the access or whatever to all this other shit. So now that I'm like, well, there's the Adobe Creative ecosystem. But however, I'm not trying to make Black Panther here, right? Like there's, you know what I mean? Like there's this one software, I think it's called like Lumnisoft or Luminescence or some shit, which is like $30. You own it straight up. There's no subscription. You own it, and then you can make whatever the fuck you want. The only so then that's one. That's the video part of it. And even then, the video, I've migrated over to the iPad for video. Music storage is a problem. I have a lot of music that I've collected over the years. I've lost it once, and that wasn't fun. And now I've rebuilt over 6 years the entire music collection, and I'm not trying to lose that. But now there's Spotify, right? Yeah. And this in the original rant that got lost, I didn't talk about Spotify that much. Why would I even need all this? Well, it's like you bought it physically. Like I used my own money to buy it, so now just to be like, oh fuck it. Let's rely on Spotify. It's a bit much, but let's just use that argument. Spotify exists. Then there's like other videos, like then there's the cloud, right? So I'm using Google Drive. You have multiple emails set up, and then I can just buy one of these wireless externals that has the SD slot for the SD cards. And then just use that. It's kind of like my storage. So that's kind of out of the way. The storage issue's out of the way. And then what else is there? The music production and the DJing. Well, I wasn't really DJing. Like, I kind of fell off of DJing for quite like a few months. Record a mix here and there. Don't really like. So on my laptop, I'm using Tractor. I'm using also this program called Renoise. And it's interesting because both of those programs were like my response to really wanting Ableton, which is like $1,000 program, but very like pretty much one of the dominant programs in the electronic music scene. One of them anyway. And realizing, and even those two, the Tractor and the Renoise software were like purchases that were almost like a do more with less philosophy. It's like Ableton's cool, but you know, it's a lot of overkill for what I'm doing. So then I got these two pieces of software, which I've put, and they're both like $100. So saved a lot of money there, and I've used it over the years, and they've made me money. But now we're approaching another do less. Even though I'm financially better off, it's like I'm trying to actually do more with less. So now we get down to, I'm watching the bars here, so I don't over record here. So now, what's left? What's really left with a laptop? No, I don't need much on that laptop. There's files. There's some. My tax shit is on there. My actually there's some things I'm not going to get into, and it's not porn. it's like there's some documents that I have saved on there that I do need. But like that again, cloud. Put them up in the cloud. What else? I was using. So even though I have this music production software, Renoise, it doesn't lend itself to longer recordings in the same way GarageBand does. So I have the GarageBand on there. However, at the same time, because GarageBand has the unlimited, what it seems to be unlimited recording. Like you can record for years, or I don't know. I haven't seen a limit. I have this one project file template that's like 2,000 bars or something. I'm sure it goes more. Anyway, so I don't need that, right? So like, what else am I going to use? Like, what else do I really need the laptop for? And the reason why I'm even thinking about this is because I opened the laptop for the first time today in like, and maybe what I'm going to say isn't accurate because I have been recording mixes. Okay, so whatever episode one of my flyer distribution rants was, I recorded a bunch of mixes over the course of like a few days. And I think this is part of it too, is like, because I mentally told myself I need the laptop for DJing, it then forced me to DJ. When in reality, there's iOS solutions. You know what I mean? And I don't really see myself, like, unless I went super aggressive on trying to get booked for, I don't know, a couple months. It was more about getting in the habit of shooting shots, less than actually giving a shit about where I was gonna DJ at per se, you know. So there's that. Music production. There's a couple things I'm looking at. Chaosilator, like the Chaos. There was like the Korg. Fuck, I wish I remembered. I just looked at it yesterday. Korg. It's funny because I tweeted out the other day. I'm like, since recovering from alcoholism, or something like that, something to that effect, I'm able to remember better. Because I find myself being able to remember like passwords that have multiple digits and alphanumeric characters, and I remember those things, but I can't remember the website that I was on that had the Korg. What was it? Korg? It's like they use it for like, it's like something that they use for Game Boy or whatever. That it's like an app or whatever. But then there's also like the Chaosilator Pro, which is another piece of that's an actual piece of hardware. There's that, and then there's a Korg Is it called the core glitch or something? Anyway, point is, those two things will suit when I need to really worry about like live or music performances or whatever. There's that. So I don't really need these two pieces of software, even though like, and the DJ controllers that are attached, so I can get rid of those two, sell those off. So really, I realized today I could really just sell the laptop tomorrow, and it would be, well, I need a little bit of prep, but I can list it at least tonight, and then just go hard at getting stuff off, whatever I think I need to get off. Doing a very quick like assessment of what files are even necessary, because there's this tendency to just save files. The other problem with that laptop too is I tried to skimp on the original storage, so it's like 128 gigabytes. And when you're running software that requires like a lot of space, it's like that don't really cut it, right? So that doesn't really do the job after a certain amount of time. And then combined with all the other bullshit you're downloading, usually as time goes on, it's like you're just dealing, like the amount of times it's like your space is almost full. Empty up some disk, free up some space, and I'm like, this is a waste. I have yet to really scratch the surface of. I think I just passed 300. This is a 512 gig iPad. I just passed 300, and it's more about being. That's being frivolous with it. Like if I just upload everything again, like the next few videos that let me give myself an arbitrary date of the weekend, and then re-upload everything to Google Drive. I mean to set up another email, just setting up an email with the variations of the same word. You know what I mean? So I can get that 15 gigabytes of storage. Anyway, but the theme is doing more with less, and this is So I'm going to use the remaining 10 minutes to talk about this whole, Canada, we have these grants that you can apply if you're an artist. Anybody can apply. Some people say that there's a bit of a bias inherent in the process of the judging of who gets the grants. I thought about that, but I'm like, you know what? Let me just do it. Then I realized that this need to always be, I think this is, I've talked about this, how I talked to this one documentary filmmaker who, in his mind, and I agree with him, like a lot of people will stifle or put a halt on their own creative projects because they don't get the grant. You know what I mean? It's like, I didn't get $5,000, therefore nothing can happen. And it's like, yeah, you can make $5,000. Okay, sure. Maybe your job is more about living expenses, but flip some shit and get the $5,000. Maybe, or not even the $5,000. Forget the $5,000. Chances are you already have what you need, unless you're a totally broke artist. And there's very few of those left, I think. I think many artists have stepped into this like quasi businessman, quasi entrepreneurial, like, if not role, just a general state of mind of like, you do whatever you can to make money. And you don't really need like hundreds of tens of thousands or even thousands of dollars. So what would I have been asking for this grant? I did the budget. I did the whole, you type away about your, the projects, your experiences, your resume, bio, viability, blah, 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 blah. Who does this affect? So on and so forth. Then you get to budget. And then I started to type out what the money would be used for. And then I'm looking around and I'm like, so everything that I'd want, I already have. Just the shitty, it's like not a shittier version. They're functional versions of what I would want. I would want bells and whistles kind of shit, which I don't really need. Because as you can tell, I'm already doing this. If you're listening to this, sure, I need to sometimes adjust the levels on the sound mixing of my voice versus the music. Sometimes I use music that I shouldn't be using because it's like it's too busy versus my voice. I just noticed this actually today. So there's that part of it, but that's nothing to do with the equipment. That's to do with me mixing it. It's like I mix things the way I like them, not versus how normal people who listen to podcasts who really. I'm not hearing too many podcasts where like they talk over the music. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe that's not accurate. But if I was to do a very brief survey of the stuff that I've generally consumed in the past 2 years, not a lot of people, it's like distracting, right? It's distracting enough when there's like two people talking at once, let alone with music. So that's more about me, but it has nothing to do with the fact that I don't have enough, you know what I mean? So what do I have? Like right now, this particular episode of the Rantcast is like, even the action cam with even the Wimmy is 4K. I used it yesterday for the Urbex business. I used it today, I think. But it's for the most part, it's like, and I was using it when I first got it. It was like, okay, I'm gonna film in the gym, film myself working out, and use that. It does give a bit of a different quality. It's a bit more lo-fi. But for the most part, it's like you don't really need another camera. You know what I mean? So, what am I using right now to do this? And I'm not a gearhead, but I'm just going to write it down. The Shure C606. Lightning to USB 3, which was like, and this is the thing too, this single purchase, this $50 Lightning to USB 3 purchase is almost, I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being how much did this particular purchase kill off your need for the laptop? I would say it's like a 7.5, 7.8, 8, maybe even a 9. You know what I mean? Like, because I was recording specifically into the laptop with GarageBand, but then the moment I got this, I stopped using the laptop for that, and then now I only use it to record mixes, which I probably don't need anymore. So anyway, the mic, Lightning to USB 3, iPad. Sorry, tablets. I don't want to be the one of those fucking guys. I have a fucking iPad. Nah. Sure, whatever. iPad Pro, because we're naming the actual models and shit. iPhone 8. And then the Xenix Q502 USB. It's a Behringer mixer. It's a USB mixer. A bit banged up, but it was cheap. And then that's all I need. Then I have like my iPhone earbuds, which are a bit banged up abroad a bit. That's it. So what am I asking for? And then I think, I don't know. Maybe this is like too much pride, but these grants, it's like artist welfare. I mean, I shouldn't be saying this, but this is how I think. When I was doing the application, I really thought about what I was applying. I'm like, this is the government handout. Like, now, who knows? Maybe a month from now, I'll switch my position on that and be like, and also it's kind of like I want to develop part of it is I want to stack a backlog of like just me ranting. It's like I reached out at one point to the mental health community, but I think that was almost jumping the gun, because literally within a week there were so many more rants and I was so much more comfortable with ranting that it was like, keep in mind that this incarnation of my own like quote unquote broadcasting, radio, whatever you want to call this phase is like when I restarted specifically with these rantcasts. It was like what, November, October. Now we're in May. Now I can do this shit, and any free moment that I have, I can rant. You know what I mean? So, now I have an even deeper kind of catalog of things to rant about. And I was just thinking today, maybe some of this stuff is a bit too personal, but then hiding certain details wasn't helping me before. And I think this is kind of like, oh my God, it's 4:42. Oh boy, 4:43. Oh man, see that coming. Anyway, so there's no need for. I got distracted by that 4:43. But anyway, so there's no need for more. You have enough. It's like getting more degrees. It's like getting more. Sometimes you think you need another car. Sometimes you think you need, oh, my girlfriend. Okay, maybe that's a bit different. But when it comes to bare creativity, when it comes to bare production, when it comes to bare the ability to express your own thoughts, when it comes to basic setup, because everything's so accessible, because everything's so cheap now. Like, as far from a cost entry standpoint, it's like I'm looking at the time. Yeah, here we go, 4:44. But it's easy to sort of get caught up in the conventional thinking of, if I had this one more piece of equipment. Yes, you might want to sound professional, but or you might want to at the very least present yourself as professional. But with this, I think with the and this is just my own opinion, so you don't have to believe me or even agree. But I think there's so much, the noise to signal ratio, there's so much stuff going on online at all times that, is anybody really going to remember your one video where you looked super professional? It could add a touch, but I think it's the information that you're disseminating that's the real key. If it's good and if it, if it's different, if it's unique, it should resonate with people. Anyway, I'm almost at 600 bars here. Something's going on with this little recording with this garage band. Like, I just noticed one of the faders just out of nowhere moved, and I didn't do anything there. So anyway, thanks for listening, folks. I'm gonna let the music ride out a bit, but then the next rant, which was the original theme, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about what I'm noticing with it's kind of expanding on that one rant about should non-African Americans be discussing African American issues. Some shit that I'm noticing in the online world has confirmed that no, they should not, but not for the reasons that African Americans are probably thinking, if they think it at all. Anyway, peace.